By the year 2000, Rockstar Games had revolutionized the open-world crime genre with the first two Grand Theft Auto titles and their London expansion packs. On October 26th of that same year, Sony released its second home console in North America, the PlayStation 2, with a massive lineup of 29 launch titles, following its earlier launch in Japan. After wrapping up their time publishing games for 5th generation home and handheld consoles, as well as their sole Dreamcast release Wild Metal, Rockstar arrived on Sony's new hardware with two open-world racing games, Smugglers Run and Midnight Club Street Racing. Today, I'll be looking at the former. My name is OneHip, and thanks for clicking on this video. I remember my primary school friend's older brother buying a PS2 on launch day in Australia, playing Smugglers Run and never letting us have a go. So I'm glad that I was able to buy a second-hand copy for about $9 dues a little while ago, and I can finally experience Rockstar's 6th gen debut for myself. This is Smugglers Run, let's go. Both Smugglers Run and Midnight Club's PS2 releases were developed by California-based Angel Studios, founded in 1984 by animator Diego Angel, a Medellin, Colombia native. The studio began with developing TV commercials, creating logos for companies like HBO and ESPN, and handling CGI and special effects for films like 1992's The Lawnmower Man. In the early 90s, Angel Studios would shift into game development. Their technical ability impressed Nintendo so much that the company signed Angel Studios as a partner, eventually placing them among Nintendo's dream team of developers for the upcoming Ultra 64. Later known as the Nintendo 64. From this point on, Angel Studios focused entirely on game development. They released two sports titles for the Nintendo 64, and had a vehicular combat game cancelled due to Nintendo prioritizing an early prototype of Diddy Kong Racing, ultimately ending their partnership. From late 97 to early 99, Angel developed original titles as well as ports, most famously the Nintendo 64 version of Resident Evil 2, impressively managing to compress the original PlayStation game's data onto a single N64 cartridge. Angel Studios also made a mark in the racing genre, with 99's Midtown Madness, an open-world racing game for PC that received strong reviews, with Midtown Madness 2 following in the year 2000. Rockstar saw the potential in Angel Studios, and sought their expertise for upcoming racing projects. And after some negotiation, Rockstar acquired the studio on November 20th, 2002, in a combined cash and common stock deal, along with prepaid royalties. Angel Studios and its 125 employees became Rockstar San Diego, the team best known today for the Red Dead series and later entries in the Midnight Club franchise. They also developed Rockstar Presents Table Tennis and provided support on LA Noire, as well as games in the Max Payne and GTA franchises. Both Smugglers Run and Midnight Club Street Racing launched alongside the PlayStation 2 in North America. Smugglers Run later received a Game Boy Advance version in September 2002, and a GameCube port retitled Smugglers Run Warzones, which also released that same year. The original game launched in Japan under the name Crazy Bumps Kotobi Car Battle, and a sequel, Smugglers Run 2 Hostile Territory, followed in October 2001. And if you have saved data for either Rockstar launch title, you unlock a bonus vehicle in the other, so check back in my Midnight Club video coming up next to see this in action. The PS2 version of Smugglers Run was released to positive reviews, while the GBA port was received negatively. Critics praised the console version's open-world design and freedom to complete missions your own way, with some calling it a truly next-generation launch title. For a game released in 2000, Smugglers Run was extraordinary for its time, laying the groundwork for future open-world Rockstar titles. But how does the gameplay hold up 25 years later? Let's take a look. Smuggler's Run is an open-world racing game set in 3 areas near the borders of the US, Mexico, and Canada. These are named Forest, Desert, and Snow. You're a smuggler working towards being at the top of your field, crossing national borders to smuggle various contraband for gains. There are several vehicles that can be used, including faster but more vulnerable buggies and rally cars, as well as slower but sturdier SUVs and trophy trucks, among others. The game opens with a message about smuggling, with a cool intro video featuring a mix of live action and in-game chase sequences. The main mode is Smuggler's Mission, where you embark on 34 cross-country expeditions as you fight off rival gangs, US border control, and even the CIA later in the game. You start off with a choice of a buggy or SUV, which you can change before each mission, before unlocking faster and more durable vehicles as you go. You can also select auto or manual transmission. Each mission has a time limit, and for every completion you receive a score and a final grade. To give you encouragement or scolding depending on how you're doing in a mission, a flirtatious assistant delivers numerous innuendos over your comms, which really nails that early 2000s Rockstar energy.
Now have fun, baby. Have fun.
Missions can vary from collecting cargo and heading to drop-off points while fighting off gangs or the authorities, having teammates help you in this same pursuit by fighting off rivals and transferring cargo to your teammates if needed, or racing rivals to a drop-off point while driving through checkpoints, among others. And typical of PS2 racing games at the time, you press X to accelerate, square to brake, triangle to reverse, and circle to handbrake, which also comes in handy for quick evasions when making sharp turns. You can also rapidly tap circle while mid-air to level out your vehicle to minimize damage when landing. You can pull up a mini-map marking destinations by holding R1. R2 is used for rear view, select changes your camera, and L1 and L2 are used to change gears if you're using manual transmission. There's a visual damage system, and parts will break off your car with collisions, but this is generally cosmetic, as you also have a damage meter which replenishes when not taking hits. Each hit decreases the value of your contraband and therefore your final score. If your damage meter empties completely, your engine stalls, giving you a small window of opportunity to restart your engine and keep going. If you're being pursued by the authorities and can't do this in time, then you're busted and your run ends. Your run can also end early if you don't make it to a mission checkpoint in time. When you roll your vehicle, you can move your joystick left and right and get back upright. And I absolutely love the ragdoll physics in the game. It's hilarious watching NPCs go flying as they curse or scream out at you for what you've done to them. I found heavier vehicles like SUVs and trophy trucks to be the best overall, as they were easier to control and more durable despite having lower acceleration. Buggies were fast, but they were very floaty, as even the slightest contact with another object would send them into a spin. The car physics may feel floaty for many, which may put some off the game in the modern era. Cargo is represented by green flare smoke, and drop-off and checkpoints have red smoke. The game's huge draw distances for the time and a directional arrow make it easy for you to find where you need to go next, even if you're a long way from your destination. Earlier Smuggler's missions are easy to moderate to complete, but from level 11, the difficulty hits a massive spike. I had a lot of trouble trying to finish this level thanks to the absolutely relentless authorities, and it took me over an hour to finally manage to beat it. I unlocked the desert area a couple of missions later, but I wasn't able to progress any further, no matter how hard I tried. I feel that the authorities are too relentless, and probably some of the most sticky I've ever seen in a Rockstar title. Coupled with a generally slim time limit for most missions, I found it baffling that people have been able to finish the game. And honestly, kudos to you if you have finished it, as I haven't had this much trouble with any game that I've done a retrospective on. Most of the time, it felt like I was being chased by the T-1000 from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. In my opinion, I would have preferred a more generous time limit with the same ferocity from the authorities, or the reverse of this, but it could just be my aging brain struggling with old school difficulty these days. Please let me know in the comments if you had any trouble playing through the main campaign like me. Visually, the game looks fantastic for a PS2 title, especially one released at the console's launch. The car models are great for the time, and the areas, while minimal in landmarks, are massive in scale, with features like villages, townships, and abandoned mine shafts dotted across each map. Some may think that the maps are too sparse and empty in a lot of places, but I can see what Angel Studios and Rockstar were going for in terms of open world freedom at the time. While Smuggler's Mission was a struggle for me, the other modes in Smuggler's Run are where I found the most joy. Thanks for still being here with me. I've made retrospectives on other classic games like this one, so if you wish to see more videos like this, as well as gaming video essays, be sure to subscribe, so you don't miss out on new videos. Let's look at Smugglers Run's other features and its soundtrack. As well as Smuggler's Mission, other features include Turf War, one of 3 game modes for 1 or 2 players across any of the 3 areas. These include Crooks and Smugglers, a free-for-all where you collect as many pieces of loot as possible to bring back to your drop-off point. Loot Grab, where you do the same thing but with teammates. And Checkpoint Race, which is exactly what it sounds like. The other mode is Joyridin, probably my favourite, where you freely roam any map without enemies trying to take you down. This is also handy for learning the best routes to drop-off points during Smuggler's Mission. I could easily see myself booting up the game again just to play this mode, and kudos to Angel Studios for making all areas and vehicles available from the get-go. The options menu includes standard features for an early PS2 title, such as toggling voiceovers and adjusting sound effect and audio levels. Interestingly, the game also offers 3D audio, which would have been mind-blowing for a PS2 launch title at the time. The soundtrack features tracks from artists like The Troublemakers, Aquanauts, and Callisto, among others, and it suits the game's fast pace well. The sound design, from tearing across terrain to the voiceover work, holds up decently for its era. Overall, while Smuggler's Run becomes significantly more difficult in its later missions, it remains a groundbreaking PS2 launch title that helped lay the foundation for how Rockstar would approach open-world design in future releases. Looking back 25 years later, Smuggler's Run is a fascinating piece of Rockstar history. It's rough and brutally difficult at times, but it was also one of the first glimpses into the kind of open-world ambition that would define the studio for the next 2 decades. Long before GTA 3 changed everything, Angel Studios were already experimenting with massive environments, long draw distances, physics-driven chaos, and the idea of letting players choose their own routes, instead of following strict paths set out by designers. You can see the DNA of Smuggler's Run scattered throughout Rockstar's later catalogue. Things like the sense of scale that would become standard in their open world titles, the off-road physics that would evolve into Midnight Club's high-speed handling, and the emphasis on freedom that would later become the backbone of games like Red Dead Redemption. Even the ragdoll chaos and unpredictable NPC reactions feel like an early ancestor to the euphoria-driven antics of HD-era Rockstar games, like GTA 4. While the series didn't continue beyond Smuggler's Run 2 and the GameCube re-release, the impact it had internally at Rockstar was enormous. Angel Studios proved that they weren't just a porting house. They could also build massive worlds, craft ambitious systems, and utilize technology that pushed hardware on day one. The foundation led directly to their acquisition and transformation into Rockstar San Diego, the studio that would go on to help shape some of the most iconic open-world experiences ever made. Today, Smuggler's Run sits in an unusual spot. It's not as widely remembered as Rockstar's later hits, and its difficulty means it isn't the most approachable game to revisit. But for players in 2000, this was one of the earliest signs that the PS2 was about to usher in a new era. And for Rockstar, it was the first step towards becoming the open-world powerhouse we know today. It may be relentless, but it was also revolutionary, and its influence can still be felt echoing throughout Rockstar's history. Thanks for watching. What are your memories of Smuggler's Run? Did you pick it up at launch alongside your PS2? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on upcoming content. While I'm not able to buy Smuggler's Run for PC, I can still buy other PC games from Fanatical. They offer officially licensed Steam keys, often with serious discounts. So if you're planning to grab your next PC game or bundle, consider using my affiliate link in the description. It won't cost you anything extra, and it directly supports the channel so I can keep making videos like this one. Thanks as always for your support. Thank you also to my current channel members for supporting me further. There are links to this and my Ko-fi donation page in the video description. My name is OneHip, and you have a good one. Bye!